Hello and welcome. We've got another stream tonight. Tonight we're going to be playing Jeskai Fires of Invention deck. It's all based around this card, Fires of Invention, which allows you to cast spells for free as long as you cast no more than 2 spells each turn, and you can't cast them in your opponent's turn. And you can cast spells with converted mana cost equal to or less than the number of lands you control. So we're going to use Planeswalkers to get a lot of card advantage. We're going to use Fae of Wishes, basically to use our wish board to go and get any answer to any situation. We've also got some colours of cards that we can't normally cast, but with Fires of Invention we can cast any cards. The thing with this version that I really like from when we played it previously is that Teferi has the ability to bounce Fires of Invention, so when we're done with getting the card advantage off it, we can just bounce it, and we don't need to worry about the downside of this. We can cast whatever spells we like whenever we like. So it's good when you're slightly behind and you need to start being able to cast spells in your opponent's turn or anything like that. So we're just going to fire on with this. For those on YouTube, there will be a link to the Streamdecker for the deck list in the description below. For those in stream, you can type !deck in chat. And I'm just going to do that just now, just so it's there. And it's working, so that is awesome. We are going to fire on up into the best of 3 ladder because we can. Let's just make sure we've got all of our foily things that we own on, which is just Narset and Shock, which is fine. Cool, let's crack on in. So yeah, as I was saying, the wish board gives us a lot of different options. So there's cards there for pretty much all kinds of scenarios. You've got some cheap answers to creatures and permanents, and Sky Tether, Devout Decree, Disenchant. You get things like Elder Spell to deal with like the Super Friends decks, Unmoored Ego to deal with the Dance of the Manse deck. You got things like Tameo to get some card advantage. You've got another copy of Sarkhan to be able to pull one out the sideboard. Casualties of War, which obviously has a lot of different abilities that can basically destroy a heap of different things. Another Chandra and a Command the Dreadhorde, which, as you may have seen in on the previous iteration of this, we managed to absolutely destroy the opponent by just bringing back all of the stuff with Command the Dreadhorde out of our Jeskai deck. So it is worth noting that with the interplanar beacons, we can cast the Planeswalkers in our sideboard, which I think is just Tameo off of that. But everything else is going to have to be cast with fires. Okay, Temple of Silence to start. That could well be the dance deck. Thought Erasure. Could still be Esper Dance or Esper whatever you want to call it. There's so many names going around for it that I actually don't know what people's preference is for that yet. So taking fires, which is actually okay for us. Let me just check that everything's alright, everything looks fine. Yeah, we are playing against that deck. Okay, that's fine. Narset's a very, very good card in this matchup, so we'll be looking to try and find a Narset. I'm certainly not bouncing this, but I want the card just to try and dig toward the Narset. They basically need to draw all these extra cards for their deck to have any kind of momentum. So it is worth noting there. Don't really mind them trading off the Teferi there. That's quite alright. Kasmina should be good here. Oh, the Narset's perfect. We're just going to go straight for the Narset. Find another Teferi. Teferi's fine. Just going to keep playing some tap lands. As much as we have these beacons they know about, I'd rather not take damage off these if we can avoid it. Okay, we have to sacrifice Narset, but that's okay. Kind of just on the I want to bounce their Doom Foretold. Make them cast it again. Now I've got 2 of these. I'm actually just going to cast one. There's only one deck anyone should be playing right now, and it's Kitty Cakes. We are not playing the food deck with that. That seems a bit too much. A bit too much. How are things this fine Sunday evening, Stuart? I hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed pre-release yesterday. We don't need the Teferi here. It's done its job. Let's go with Kazmina. See if we can start drawing into some stuff. Draw into some more lands, that's for certain. We definitely don't need this Claudian, so... buying a laptop to fixing issues like that is definitely the right solution. Like I bought a new desk chair today, as you probably saw from my messages earlier. Yeah, our hand's not very good, so that didn't do a whole lot. So this Fae is probably just getting picked up, so we can go and shoot her for something. I guess I actually want to keep the Kazmina. Time Wipe's not doing a whole lot just now.
My students are loyal geniuses.
This is kind of a clunky draw from us. Wrong half problem. Which doesn't really get better with our deck, just because obviously we are using a wish board, but we'll probably bring in our specific answers that are going to be useful in the matchup. So some of the bits that will, like Unmoored Ego has to stay in the board, so we can wish for it, so we can fires and cast it, but Teferi. That's really rude. So we're losing Kazmina here. If we don't draw a relevant spell, we'll probably just pack it in. This deck's got a lot of inevitability, a lot of card draw. As I say, the Narsets are very important to stop them being able to draw all of these extra cards and cycle through their deck like this. Which is kind of annoying. We haven't been able to find one, but or stick one. Yeah, we'll just pack it in. As much as we can kill Teferi, there are that many cards closer to drawing a dance, so there's not a whole lot of point from playing from there. We really don't want these Justice Strikes, but I think we can deal with having all the other cards in our deck. So I think we're just putting in a Dovin's Veto and the Chandra, because basically whenever we are going to use Fae in this matchup, we are literally just going to be going for Unmoored Ego to stop them getting Dance. We can deal with their fair game, but Dance is going to be the card that we struggle with. So yeah. Obviously having a wish board means it's slightly more difficult to basically use your sideboard for actual matchups like this. It's probably worth the point of having maybe like 4 cards or 4 slots dedicated to actually sideboarding things. So like in this matchup, potentially we should be having 4 Dovin's Vetoes. Potentially we should be able to sideboard into 3 of them there. Maybe I want to be able to take the shocks out, and that's based on the way that the deck is built, that we're not able to do that at the moment. So and while we wait, I've got a 3DS here, so because all of my opponents on Arena over the last couple of weeks have been super slow, so I've come prepared this time, so I can play 2 games at once. This hand is pretty good. Double Narset is excellent because that's obviously the key card here. We'll start with Hallowed Fountain. If this can find an untapped land on 4, that would be ideal, but if not, then it's going to be finding this is going to be find an island this turn, so... Okay, that's not an island, so that's okay though. Thought Erasure, I have lots and lots and lots of stuff, so they can take what they like. I'm not actually sure, they probably take the veto here. Because double Narset, unless they just have a... If they have an Oath of Kaya, then they potentially just want to take one Narset so they don't have to deal with the second one. These stained glass Planeswalker cards look absolutely amazing. Right, Narset time. Worst draw in our deck, but that's okay. Another worst card in the deck that should have come out, but again, this sideboard's not built for this matchup existing, so yeah, we'll need to make some changes. And we'll make a couple of changes after this because we know this is that's a good one. Let's take the fires. Let's get that rolling. Cast with alternative cost. I want to go and find something. I think I'm just getting the Unmoored Ego. That was a pretty good draw there, was the fires. Just gives us so much more card advantage, so much more play to the game. The rest, they'll take the ego here. There was debate if I was going to get something else with the Fae, rather than the ego, but that's quite alright at the moment. Bounce the fires. Interesting. You got a card to take with it, or have you got a veto? I've not got a veto, okay. I'm going to hold the Narset for the time being, just purely because I want to make sure that they struggle to deal with these. Obviously, it's one of the more difficult cards for them to deal with. Doom Foretold's fine, because we don't care about it because we've got Narset that we can sack. We've got more copies of Narset. So that's why we sack the Narset. And get a Royal Scions. Royal Scions can start ticking up towards its ult. Can actually churn us out of these bad cards too. So again, this Teferi will get to the point of being able to bounce the fires, which then unlocks our casting multiple spells or doing anything else. So. Or we can just use our Narsets to find another Teferi to be able to do that at some point in the future. Guild Globe doesn't do anything, which is great. This is the point where I'm saying Narset is one of the key cards in the matchup, because all of their cards just draw cards, and that is the most important part for them. I'm just going to sack the Teferi here after talking myself around there. I think I just need to keep these Narsets in play. They are that vital to the matchup. There's Teferi. Let's plus with the Royal Scions. Discard another Clarion. Cast Teferi for free. Let's bounce the fires so we can interact. And we get to draw a card. I already played my land, which was a mistake. We're just going to play this Fae out. And with their Doom Foretold, they just need to keep sacking their Guild Globes and all these cards that haven't actually done anything because Narset's sat there, stopping them from drawing cards. So it is worth noting that they're not making as much progress as they need to be here. A Dance is still very good here, but not as good as it would be. Kaya's Wrath to deal with my 1/4. That is more than alright. Am I? I think I'm going to just rebuy this one, actually. Pick that one back up. I think it's going to be worthwhile just being able to get more cards out of our board. We've got one golden egg that doesn't draw a card. Again, I don't think we need the... I guess we've got the Narset, so let's get rid of that one. Eugene. Draw a card, then discard a card. These are all pretty good, which is a shame, but that's okay. I actually don't need to interact this turn, so I'm just going to cast the fires so we can cast Chandra and Ugin next turn. Or I could even cast Sarkin as well. Actually, I'm just going to sack this. The Doom Foretold. I actually don't need it. Find another one anyway. Plus the Teferi again. This would deal 10 damage, and then Sarkin's lethal, so let's do that.
Maneuver into position.
Okay, that's one for our pal Royal Signs there. That was good. Good Tenyu and Whack-You. Can't complain too much about that. Is there anything I can bring in to make it not have these Clarions in? I don't think there is. Guess I can bring a Sarkin in, but that's probably it. I'm gonna need to leave one in, I think. Really don't want the other cards in. I guess I can have a Justice Strike in over a 1 Clarion as well. So yeah, we're gonna need to work on a board that has try and have six cards that aren't gonna be slots there that are used, but like some things are not gonna necessarily be in. So Sky Tether, potentially Disenchant, things like that we have other ways of dealing with. As I say, I think we probably want 4 vetoes. I think the deck's obviously got a lot of answers to the aggressive decks in the main deck, so it probably doesn't need too many answers in the board for it. So thank you to everyone for having watched my YouTube videos and stuff over the last few days. The growth I've had is absolutely insane. It's been I can't actually count the numbers. It's that big. So thank you everyone. It's been absolutely brilliant. My first Fires of Invention video has nearly hit 500 views. It's approaching there, and it should hit that at the rate it's going, probably the end of today or start of tomorrow, which is just incredible. So yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for watching, and I appreciate it. It's an awesome thing to be able to do this and have people watch it and hopefully enjoy it. I think most of the comments have been pretty positive, so I'm just going to use this veto here. If they're doing that now, it's highly likely they've not got a land, and nor do we. Just need a blue source. Oh, the 2 Claudians left in the deck. Gross. Just give me a blue source and we'll wrap this game up. Yeah, that's fine. Really annoying, but fine. Any land lets us cast, any untapped land lets us cast Teferi, any blue source lets us, untap blue source lets us cast Narset, so Again, they've established the key card and they know it's Narset, so. Oh boy, okay, we'll just move on to the next one. We can make these sideboard tweaks that I was talking about. We're not necessarily dead there by any stretch, but I just feel like we can do a bit better and have a bit more control if we fix the sideboarding. So from our sideboard, we don't need the Sky Tether. That was for best of one. We don't need the Disenchant. We probably don't need the Dawn of Hope either. Pulse of Marasa seems, again, unlikely that we would ever need that. Unmoored Ego is a definite. Tameo is a good one to be able to rebuy stuff. Enter the God Eternals is probably the best way to be gaining life. That gives us 4 cards, but I want more than that, so I guess we are cutting the Tameo. Yeah, I think that's okay. So then we put in the extra 3 Dovin's Vetoes. Oh, they went in the wrong place. And that leaves us 2 cards. So what do we reckon? Well, thank you for saying that, Stuart. I know you can be potentially biased because you know me personally, but I still appreciate that, and I hope there is a full amount of sentiment to it, and I'm sure there is. Right, let me try and think what the last couple of cards need to be. We want castable cards. Let's go. That doesn't work. I can't think of any Jeskai cards in Standard, so let's just plow through this list and see what's what. See if there's anything that's interesting for us to try. Certainly, when folks are watching this afterward, feel free to make suggestions, and I can easily try them in future videos, or anyone that's in chat. I know there's not many, it's pretty much just Stuart, but crack on in if you've got any suggestions. So we want cards that are better against the controlling deck. We've got our deck is set up well for game 1 against the aggro decks, but when we're playing against the control decks, we need to be able to cut these 6 cards. We'll bring in 4 Dovin's Vetoes, but I need 2 more cards to bring us that. I'm okay keeping the Shocks in. The Shocks help us deal with their Narsets and Teferis in normal controlling decks, not necessarily the one we just played against. But none of those white cards seem particularly useful in that situation. Right, what else? We could put in... I'm struggling for thoughts on what I actually want. Brazen Border is probably a decent one. It's a good catch-all. Helps pressure and close the game out as well, which this deck can struggle to do. Yeah, let's go with this. Obviously, we can't wish for that, but I think that's probably worthwhile. Right, okay, let's update the deck. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, this sideboard seems slightly better set up. So again, you can point to !deck in chat to find the latest list there. It should be updated already, which it is. Wonderful. You can see it on the overlay as well. Amongst other things, so trying to work at having this technology all smooth and everything, it is slightly difficult to make sure that I've got everything up and running. Not completely fluid in everything yet, but we will get there as we keep streaming. This hand's great. Narset and Teferi, brilliant 3-drops, and that's where we're at with this hand. We can try and curve up to Chandra, and these guys will help us find any other answers to what they're doing. So There is potentially... I would actually like to hear people's opinions on if you should... Certainly with this hand and the way it's set up, if it's actually worthwhile scrying on turn 2 to know what we're scrying into. Because if we're playing against Esper Dans, I don't want to keep the Shocks and the Deafening Clarions. But and from the first land, you can usually tell roughly what's going on. Did they miss on their Once Upon a Time? They missed on their Once Upon a Time, right? I missed that. I'm not at TwitchCon because I'm just a Diddy baby streamer. I am just a little casual guy that just streams from his streams in his free time. All these other guys are doing it full time, and they are more deserving of spots there. But it would be awesome to be able to do something like that in the future. But certainly not at the moment anyway. One step at a time, and the YouTube content seems to be doing better than the online content and than the Twitch streaming at the moment. So need to build up a little bit more of a following. I mean, I know all 106 YouTube subscribers are all over it, but probably the other however many thousands of people that are at TwitchCon will potentially not be there. But TwitchCon certainly seemed awesome, and I hope that everyone there has enjoyed themselves. It looks like it's been brilliant. Hydroid Crassus for 3. You drawing no cards. Let's start with an R6. If we find a Deafening Clarion, I probably want to cast it. And that means we can fires into that, so let's do that. Just want to keep the board clear. Do I remember you rightly from a Legacy GP a few years ago? You probably need to be slightly more specific than that, but I have played in most of the European Legacy GPs over the last few years. So it's highly possible that it is me, yes. Right, we're going to play Fires and Sarkin here. We can scry with the Temple of Triumph. Don't need any more lands because I've got the next land to be able to cast Chandra. Cool. We got game 1. So they are a creature deck, so we don't really want to change anything. Our deck is set up to deal with these kind of things. And our sideboard slots are for the bigger decks, so or the control decks. Everything else we can wish for with Fae of Wishes, so if they have anything that we can't really deal with in our main deck, then we will potentially sideboard into the Brazen Buccaneers. Brazen Buccaneers? That's not even what it's called. Brazen Borderers. I know how to words. Definitely words. Good words and places and stuff. Definitely. Right. This hand is super awkward. I'm gonna mull it. This hand's much better. I'm gonna throw away the. Am I? I'm gonna throw away the island. Think we can cope with the rest of the hand. Like we can play Beacon on 3, which lets us cast Narsa, and then this can find a white source so that we can make sure we can time wipe. Fire's Invention's a good one. Once Upon a Time. This card is so good. Are they playing Golos? I did not get that from the draw they had. Did not think they were playing the Golos deck. Okay, good to know. Good to know about. Okay, so they're gonna get to play the gate next turn, so yeah, and slightly potentially in some trouble here. We should still get the time wipe on 5. But they will have some zombies in play, and they will have had a Golos activation off, so realistically this Narset wants to be finding something, but I don't know what it is. Deafening Clarion can be an answer to that, so that's a good one. Yeah, let's Narset. We can Shocking Clarion next turn, which would deal with the Golos. Ooh, interesting ones. Kasmina obviously makes 2/2s, lets us filter. Ugin's probably the better answer, but it doesn't deal with the one card that we actually care about, which is Golos, so it's not amazing there. Justice Strike doesn't do anything in this matchup at all, so it's just between Kasmina and Ugin. I think I'm probably going to go with the cheaper answer, just because Ugin doesn't deal with the one card we actually care about. Or the card we care about the most, I should say. Oh, he's got a field in hand as well. Oh well, we do get to Clarion and clear up the mess, so he plays another field. We get to clear up the mess, we get to Narset and go looking for our next answer. Even though we've got a time wipe as well, so we've got plenty of stuff going on. Alright, let's start with the Narset. Let's take the Teferi. Right. That was a pretty reasonable cycle for us there, just purely because of how good a start that is from the opponent. Another Golos is pretty brutal. Field number 3. Once upon a time. Finds another Golos. Yikes. If they didn't find that extra Golos, we would be in such good shape here. I think I still just need to make the play that I was going to anyway, which is we go and find an island, we play fires, and we time wipe. We keep the board clear. It means they get to Golos, but they don't get to activate it yet, so we can play chicken with the Teferi, which isn't ideal, but Lukash, thank you for the follow. Hello. Hello indeed. Good to see everyone. Another propeller. Remember, we do love the propellers. They're our favourite Germans. Right, okay, let's start with Kasmina, see if we can find anything. That doesn't bode well. Sunday night propeller times. I'm bouncing this just to try and give us as much time as possible to actually find what we're doing. Because we're going to need to find another Clarion or a way to get the time wipe from our board. So just want to try and make sure that they can't do too much silly. Yeah, I think Fires is a good deck. It's had a couple of rough matchups first up tonight, so we'll probably give it one more after this one, and then we'll probably change it up to something else. I've been playing a couple of blue-black control lists that have been quite interesting, so we'll probably give one of them a bash. And then from there, yeah, we'll see how the time goes. Probably only streaming for a couple hours tonight. We may as well save the Teferi, because there is no point not doing that. The other two are dead, so it doesn't really matter. So they can activate the Golos here as well. Another Fires does not do it, so game 3. Game 3 on the play. Hopefully we have a slightly better set of draws, and hopefully they have slightly worse ones than they did. Brazen Borrower doesn't do anything, so we're just going to fire it back. Yeah, the zombie land is pretty obnoxious. I think it's going to be a pain for its entire time in standard, and I don't think there's any real way around it. Or there's no good way around it. We can't keep that. We can keep this one though. We can ditch one Royal Scions. Going to fetch with Fabled Passage on 2 for a blue source. 1 Scions, bye bye. We may as well start with Fabled Passage actually, there's no harm in it at all. As I'd been saying at the start of the stream, everyone I've been playing against in Arena at the moment seems to be taking absolutely forever, so I've got my handy 3DS playing other games that I'm trying to grind stupid marathon runs on, so I'm trying to do something called Professor Oak's Challenge in Pokemon, so your name is a meme in the Propeller Hut crew. You'll need to explain that to me. Let's just start off with the Scions. We got a Dovin's Veto? And negate, okay. There's a Teferi of their own. I know of him, yes. Okay, we drew Narset. Narset's a really good one. Hopefully get start 2 spelling.
I'll protect you.
Teferi. Is Teferi bouncing my fires? Teferi is bouncing my fires. Is that digging for land? I feel like that was digging for land. Well, let's just take another Narset. Stop them drawing. They're only on Bant colors, so. Awesome. That sounds about right from you guys. So just loving each other, making sure that you wind each other up. So. Right. Chandra's fine. Let's cast another Teferi. This doesn't feel good, but I don't feel like I've got any other options. Not drawing land number 5 is pretty brutal here, and a miss on that as well with just lands. Wonderful. So remember, everyone, especially to everyone new in chat, you can subscribe to me on YouTube. My YouTube is there. It's youtube.com/Rainer1903. I'm currently at 106 subscribers. We've had a ridiculous amount of people watching content over the last few days, so hoping to continue building upon that. So it'd be awesome to have you there. That's a fair few zombies there. Could really do with drawing some lands. Still no lands. Okay, Royal Scions can help us dig into lands. We like that. Still no land. Okay, we'll ditch the shock. We're casting the Clarion. can time wipe next turn, assuming we eventually find a land. So I could potentially say, like, not drawing a 5th land's like a bit of the Lukash. I see how it is. I see how it is. Aether Gust. Do I want it on top? I guess if I'm winning this game, I still need that card. It's a real shame I don't have the 5th land, so I could blow them out with a time wipe. But this is doing the Kirby. Okay. Oh, still no land. He is indeed. Just need to kill the zombies, unfortunately. Hopefully they don't hit too much off the Golos before we find the land. Okay, that's okay. So he gets to make zombies with that. He can potentially make some more zombies with the Growth Spiral, but that's kind of what the time wipe's for. Time wipe will help us catch up again. Hits the Narset. Okay. Interesting. I wasn't expecting him to hit the Narset. Bounce the fires, that's fine. Okay, just wants to draw cards. Everybody wants to draw cards. Everyone loves drawing cards. And I would just love to draw lands. And you get another land. We do have lots of looks at this land. Right, okay, let's start with Scions. We found it. Look at that. Alright, cast fires. Play this, cast this. Okay. This is looking better. I mean, we've still got the Royal Scions kicking around. Sarkhan. Was it lethal with Sarkhan next turn? If we minus the Teferi, bounce the fires. Okay, it's not going to be lethal now. So if we minus the Teferi, bounce the Krasis. Do you really care about them doing that again? Potentially not. Okay, that's slightly more annoying. Okay, lots of zombies. I guess we're probably going to have to bounce those then if they've got 6 zombies. Okay, so let's start by bouncing this Hydroid Crassus. As much as I don't want to be doing that, that seems to be where we're at. Okay, I've got 18 life. What stuff's in the graveyards? Because if I can... Oh, we don't have enough mana for the command, do we? No, undo. There's not a whole lot in there anyway. Narset, Teferi, Royal Scions. I guess we could do this. Draw this, shoot them for 9. Do this. Take Command the Dreadhorde. Cast Command the Dreadhorde. So we'll take a Teferi, a Golos, a Grazer, which would be... We'll leave the Grazer just now. That would be 8, 9, so 8, 11, 14. So yeah, we're as well taking the Grazer as well for putting an extra land into play. We want to keep the new Teferi. We'll obviously search for a land. We'll take a beacon. Love another beacon. Just try and gain some life. Right. So, what is next? Narset. Narset finds a Clarion. That's a good start. Royal Scions can ditch that. Teferi can bounce the fires. Then we can play Chandra and minus. Right, okay. I think that was a pretty reasonable turn. No problem, guys. Sorry, I was a bit quiet during that turn, trying to actually think through all the different things I can do. Command the Dreadhoard's a good card. Hydroid Crassus for lots, but doesn't draw any cards, just gains some life. The beauty of Narset.
Here we go.
Just chucking more lands into play, or are we just going blockers? These look like blockers. It smells like stabilizing, if I'm being honest. Don't need that hallowed fountain. Plus this. Plus this. Cast fires. Cast Ugin for free. Destroy the Crassus. And let's get our scry on. And so this Sarkhan is lethal with 5 planeswalkers, so they need to do something here. Hydroid Crassus for 9, gains them some more life, still don't draw any cards. That makes them some tokens. Trust me, I have a plan. Let's start by plussing Ugin. It's the only thing we can do with that one. Yeah, we got Fae, plus the Teferi.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Right, so we can Clarion using this mode. Do both things. We get to put that in our hand. We'll attack. I guess we'll attack the Teferi. And then we're going to Clarion. I guess we can actually just shock. So if we minus 4 the Chandra on the Krasis. Then we get to shock the Krasis, which exiles it. Then we can use the Royal Scions. I'm definitely keeping a Justice Strike because that's such an efficient answer to another Crassus. They found a Golos. Okay. If they don't have any life gain, they are dead. They can make a bunch of blockers on the ground, but at the moment they're dead. Ugh. That's rude. Yep. How can I... What are you... Are you letting me do that? How are you letting me cast that? Oh, because it's a sorcery. Ha! That's cool. Didn't think about being able to cast the Fate instant speed with that. So let's pick up a Chandra. So then we get to Deafening Clary in them. Okay. That's fine. That means the Chandra gets to do the same thing next turn, so that works out okay. Alright, let's start by fetching up a land. I'm actually going to do this one first just to make sure that this happens. Right, deal 3 to everything. Then play a Fae. Oh, they missed the land! Oh, they missed the land off the growth spiral. That's huge. Hydroid Crassus for 15. Yikes. Well, how many cards are left in their deck? They've got 10 cards left in their deck now. Have I gone through both my Justice Strikes? No. I still have a time wipe in the board, right? Go on, bounce my Fae. Oh, we found the Justice Strike. Right, let's wrath the board. You kill yourself. Cast Narset. Yeah, I'm not sure how we're still in this game, but I'm not going to complain about it. This deck's got some serious grind against this this Field of the Dead. So this Sarkhan next turn, assuming we can get 2 dragons into play, the Sarkhan checks all the zombie tokens. So that's another way we've got out of this, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't think they'd have any basics left at this point. Field of the Dead. Indeed. So they don't draw any more cards. need more than that. So how many Goluses are they through? They're through 3 Golos. And they get to play a massive Crisis. And I think we still have a time wipe in the board. We should still have a time wipe in the board.
Hone your prowess.
Did I mess that up? I think I messed that up. Do I have enough mana for this? I don't think I've got enough mana for this now, do I? I didn't have anyway. I did have a time wipe. That doesn't deal with it. I think that means we are dead, unfortunately. We tried our best to work our way through that, but yeah, Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead. Okay. We worked pretty hard there to not get through there, which is quite frustrating, but hey ho. Yeah, let's do a wrap on this one. We can go on to something else for the next while. This deck's, again, I've said it before, it's very good against creature decks. Still needs some tuning against the control decks. We've obviously put in a couple of cards to try and help with sideboard cards, but there's certainly still some work there that can be done. So if you're looking to do this, be looking to do that. Basically, you want to try and build the board so you can take out as many of the Shocks, Justice Strikes, and Clarions while keeping your Wish board, which is why we've got 4 Vetoes and 2 Borrowers. So the only 2 cards we can't Fae of Wishes for is Brazen Borrower, which I think is okay. Dovin's Veto is obviously very useful in some situations. The one thing that I learned from gameplay, because it just didn't dawn on me before, was that Teferi lets you cast Fae at instant speed, so there is that to consider as well when you're playing this deck. So really sweet deck, lots of play to it, as you can probably see from these 2 videos. So let us move on to the next one.